In one summer, I went from being a pass first point guard that was honestly terrified to even shoot the ball to averaging almost 30 points in the same exact league. And it wasn't talent. It's actually what I wanted to talk to you about in this video, and what I hope will finally get you to start the thing you've been thinking of doing or putting off because of perfectionism. So, quick backstory. When I was younger, my parents put me into basketball against my own will, and I was not very good. I was always passing, and I barely even dribbled, let alone shoot. I was terrified of missing the ball. Every single time I get the ball, I'd maybe dribble once or twice, then pass it. Then there was one summer that I was probably like 12, because this was maybe 10 years ago, and all I watched that summer was Golden State Warriors, Stephen Curry, and Isaiah Thomas. And literally, I would just be in my room. I had my TV in the corner, and I would just constantly be watching them shoot like these highlight reels, bro. Like, they were awesome. And so what I did that summer was I had a basketball court in my driveway, and that entire summer I would literally, it was like the ending of the school year, and every day after school I'd come home and I would just shoot until it got dark out. And into the summer I was still doing this, shooting. And what I also started to do was, I'm going to put this YouTube channel up. If anybody remembers them, I forget what it's called off the top of my head. I'm going to put a picture up. But I would watch this dude's videos, and like specifically, learn how to shoot like Ray Allen, learn how to shoot like Damian Lillard, learn how to shoot like Curry. And I would just constantly be shooting the ball. I would constantly be practicing my jump shot and all this, and I would just shooting from as far away as I could, from weird angles, fadeaways, all of this weird stuff. Now, what I did not realize at the time was that, every single day I was shooting thousands and thousands of shots. Like, I knew subconsciously that I was shooting a lot, because that's really all I was doing. I was by myself. But like literally every single day in the summer, from I'd go outside at 11 a.m., stay until 7 p.m. Like on the days I had nothing going on, which was most of them, to be honest. Every single day I was just doing this so many times, shooting so much, because I had so much fun. And the craziest thing was, well, I guess it's not really crazy now that I say it, but in that same exact league, 1 year later, one summer later, I was now averaging almost 30 points every time that I played. Like, I would have two people guarding me every single game. And again, this is the same league. I was not shooting at all. Like, I was scared to do layups. I was scared to pass. I would be coming down the court, and like 30 feet away, 35 feet away, like literally right past half court, I would feel comfortable. It just felt completely different to me. I felt in my zone all the time. Now, this is to say, what made me a better shooter and more confident shooting really any shot that I wanted to take, it wasn't perfecting a jumper. Now, although you could kind of say that through all the repetitions, I kind of did get a really good jumper, and I did kind of try to perfect it subconsciously. Really what I think it was the insane amount of shots I was shooting. And it wasn't so much about trying to make 1,000, trying to make 5,000. I was just shooting a bunch. I missed a bunch. But in the act of missing a bunch, I learned how to miss a little bit less, and then a little bit less. And before you knew it, I was consistently making most of the shots that I took. How this translates for you is, if there's been something that you've been wanting to start, and you've been, putting it off because you want to make the perfect version of it. Maybe you want to get into music, maybe you want to start editing videos, and you just can't wrap your head around how to do X, Y, Z, A, B, all of this stuff, right? The solution to getting over that, wanting to perfect your stuff, is to just allow yourself to airball over and over and over again, completely miss. If you're doing a video, if you're making videos, right, just make a bunch of bum videos, because after you make like 10 terrible videos, you'll have an understanding of how to make them a little bit better, and then a little bit better, and then you give it a year, 2 years, 3 years. Now you've become a YouTuber because you put that time in. That's the same thing with anything. If you want to make music, you got to make a bunch of bad songs. Eventually, right? Eventually, you're going to make a banger. Like, if you were to spend months making one song, right, it could end up being good, it could end up being terrible. But if you spend the same amount of time making, 30, 40 songs, right? So much music. Now, the quality would probably drop a little bit, or at least you would think. However, the chances are at least one of those songs, even though it's less quote unquote quality, at least one of them would actually be pretty good. And that's because along the way of making a bunch of music, you start to learn how to do it quicker. You know, what note goes here, how this sounds better, this sounds worse. You learn that the quicker that you practice, the more that you practice. This is the same with anything. If you are to fall in love with the process of doing the thing, you can actually get good at literally anything in this world. Because the hardest part of really getting through anything is to consistently show up and do it again and do it again and do it again. That is the hardest part. Being okay with the struggle, being okay with not seeing results immediately. With all of that being said, I want you today to make one terrible version of whatever you've been thinking of making. And you don't have to post it, you don't have to show it, you don't have to comment. You could just watch this video in the background and just make a pact with yourself that you're going to make a terrible, god-awful version of whatever you've been putting off. My sneaky little suspicion is that you doing this, you're going to realize that it's really not that bad to create, and the only thing that's been holding you back is this idealized version of something you should be creating in your head, like you're trying to make it perfect. I really hope this helps, and I really strongly encourage you to actually do something about this, because I cannot stress enough or put enough emphasis on it. If you do this thing and you just keep making terrible things, give it a month, give it 2 months, 3 months, you're going to be unrecognizable. You're going to be, the version of you that you've always wished you could be, because you got through the struggle, you got through the suck. With all that being said, thank you for watching so much. I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing, great day. If you liked the video, please assault that subscribe button. But either way, thank you. Peace out.